Hey everyone, I'm Sarah Davis and you're watching Fight News Now Extra. We're taking you into the weekend with the hottest headlines in the MMA world, ranging from a fighter almost getting mugged to Ronda Rousey's next fight. Then we'll hear what John Pollock and John Ramdeen have to say about all of them. Here are this weekend's Newsmakers. So get this, Renzo Gracie was walking through the streets of Manhattan when he was followed by two men looking to mug him. He kicked the crap out of them, and not only is that the craziest part, he was tweeting a play-by-play of how the entire situation went down, even including pictures. Chris Cyborg's suspension won't be lifted until the end of December, so Strikeforce CEO Scott Coker says it's likely we'll see women's bantamweight title holder Ronda Rousey fight another opponent before then, but there is no word on who that will be. Now it's over to our panel, John Pollock and John Ramdeen. And guys, back to Renzo Gracie. During his encounter with the muggers, he tweeted, "Jiu-jitsu, never leave home without it." What do you guys never leave home without?
I actually never leave anywhere without Wei Ting attached at the hip with me, because him and I do everything in tandem.
Yeah,
Yourself, John?
Mine's a bottle of brandy and some rubber gloves.
Well, that's good, especially the fact he doesn't drive now. It's much more legal for him to get around with that. But this story was fantastic, John. Two muggers going after Renzo Gracie.
Idiots.
And he live tweets this. This is a different level of just incredible.
Now, what we have to remember is this is a man who had his arm broken by the great Sakuraba, so two muggers were going to be no problem. And what's amazing is that he pretended to be drunk to lead these guys on, and he wanted to really engage, and it's very exciting that Renzo Gracie did what so many people would love to do.
So many great parts to this, from the live tweets to the raccoon eyes to whispering into one of the guy's ears.
Amazing.
That's what death feels like. Don't do that again. You compound that with the Renzo Gracie accent. Awesome. Awesome. Two holes getting caught by Renzo Gracie. I could not have been more happy reading this. I got excited. My body got excited reading this.
What's better about it is the fact that Renzo Gracie, after the first guy, went after the second guy. He ran away. Renzo tracked this guy down and choked him out 3 times. Renzo Gracie, one of the legends in all of mixed martial arts and combat sports for a reason. He is the greatest of all time.
Well, maybe the World Series of Fighting will opt to bring in Renzo Gracie now. They're going to be bringing in one of the Gracies in Gregor Gracie. We also have Bobby Lashley attached to this project, Josh Berkman, Miguel Torres, who's not going to be fighting for Titan any longer. But an interesting lineup here for November the 3rd when they debut in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And of course, it's led the president of the company, the great Ray Sefo, of course, of K1 fame. So this guy loves fighters, and he's brought in a ton of guys, including the main eventer being Miguel Torres. It's an interesting time for mixed martial arts because we know the UFC is simply one brand, but there's a lot of good fighters all over the world.
Well, now's a real interesting time, John, because UFC has really been the monopoly. We've seen so many MMA promotions littered right now in a graveyard. A lot of companies trying to get now that alternate status, where we've seen Bellator trying, they're going to move up to Spike. And now with World Series of Fighting, they've got to deal with the NBC Sports Network, formerly Versus. What does a company have to do to be viable to get a piece of the pie, which is so concentrated right now in the UFC brand?
Well, number one, if they're going to have a show, they have to be committed to having a show. They have to really be in it for the long haul. They can't be just 1 or 2 done and think that they're going to make money. Very similar to the MFC here in Canada. They've been in it for the long haul, and they've proven that with that formula, you will have success. And with the number of people that these guys have, behind the scenes, I think they will be a success.
And we move over. Spike.com this weekend is going to be hosting the K1 US Grand Prix Finals. That's going to be taking place from Los Angeles. They will eventually move to the Spike Network in 2013 when the UFC contract's over. But right now, K1, this is not the heyday of K1. Is there an audience for kickboxing past the hardcore level right now? That's really the question.
Oh, absolutely. This is the fighting for the casual fan. I talk to most fans out there, and they love the stand-up game. Yeah, they can tolerate when 2 guys are rolling around on the ground, but what they want to see is guys getting punched and kicked in the head. They want to see guys going to sleep. And of course, this K1 show has a number of Americans in it. This isn't the real K1. We have guys 2 Canadians on the card in super fights, but in the heavyweight Grand Prix, you have guys like Rick Rufus, who's 46 years old. You have Seth Petrozelli, you have Dewey Cooper.
Mighty Mo.
Not Mighty Mo. Maybe not some of the biggest names, but what we have to look forward to is the show in October. October. Apparently, they've signed Badr Hari, Mirko Cro Cop, and Daniel Guida. That is the K1 everybody wants to see.
Really interesting to see the makeup of Spike TV in 2013 when they don't have the UFC library anymore and really catering it to a combat sports fan. Let's end off Ronda Rousey. The fight with Chris Cyborg, it seems like that is the fight everyone wants now. Tito Ortiz, of all people, now managing Chris Cyborg, saying the fight will happen. And it seems that Cyborg now willing to cut to 140, but not 135. If you have to guess right now, John, I mean, what is the next fight for Ronda Rousey? Do we fall under Sarah McMahon? Is it going to be wait till Cyborg's available after her suspension? What is next?
No, I think Sarah McMahon. They just signed this girl. She's the Olympic silver medalist in wrestling, so you can use that storyline there. I mean, clearly they want Ronda Rousey to win, and they believe she'll win. So, I mean, the biggest fight, of course, is for Cyborg, but Ronda Rousey is the selling point right now.
The best female fighter of all time, according to Rolling Stone magazine.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
Anyway, Ronda Rousey, she'll be fighting at some point, but this weekend we've got K1 and lots more action coming your way.
Thanks, guys. And for those of you watching, don't forget, Golden Boy Boxing is live on Fight Network this Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. And in the meantime, hop onto our website, fightnetwork.com, to join our fantasy pool where you can get the chance to win plenty of prizes from Everlast. Keep it here. We have more fight news now extra to come.